welcome back to my channel, Jamie from Colors. I'm Jamie, and today we are starting a new mini-series on skin tone, or not skin tones. We did skin tones. This is hair. We're doing hair this time. My goodness, where's my brain? Okay, so we're doing hair. We're going to use the Color Edge Wild books. There are 3 of them. This is the second one. There's Color Edge Wild 1, Color Edge Wild 2, and Color Edge Wild 3, and they're all by Emmanuel Collin. And I got these books off of an Etsy shop, so I will have the links down in the description box below of where I purchased them from, so you can find them if you want. But with all of my mini-series tutorials, you can take what I've done, what I'm doing on my picture, and apply it to whatever picture you have. Don't feel that you have to use the picture that I'm doing to learn or to apply what I'm doing. So you use the picture you have. If you want this book, I will provide a link, but again, you can do it on whatever you want. We are using the paper from the book this time. This is a good paper. I did a little practice here of what the hair color that we're going for tonight is, or this morning, whatever time you're watching. My goodness, I have a lot to say today. Okay, let's get started. This one, I believe, is from the Color Edge Wild 2 book, and we're going to give her blonde hair. I kind of wanted it to look kind of like a nest, you know, like her hair's the color of the bird's nest. So I'm kind of going for a blonde color, kind of a straw-like color. And so we're using Prismacolor Premieres. Anything I use will be in the description box down below, so you can find it, as well as links. They're not affiliate links, they're just there for your convenience. And then I will have on the screen the color that I am using at the time, so you can follow it along easily. So we're going to do the hair. I don't know if we're going to do all this hair. This is a lot of hair. And I want these tutorials to be on the shorter side, but we'll see how much we get done. So let's zoom in and get started. Okay, so the colors that I've pulled, I'm going to use 4 today, and this is Cream 914, Sand 940, Yellow Ochre 942, and Burnt Ochre 943. So we're going to start with the Cream 914. And the idea is that we want to base coat her whole hair in the 914, and then this color is going to be like the highlights. So it's going to be our lightest color. We're looking for highlights here. So we're just going to get this. Just get it on the paper, cover up the white, get us started so we're not afraid of the white paper. You don't need to press hard. We want to use very light layers. We don't want to fill in the tooth of the paper, and you might not even see much color on the video, but there is some color laying down, but it's very light. So we want light blonde hair. When doing hair, we want sharp pencils because we want to be able to have strokes that look like hair as we go along. Like if it's one flat color, it doesn't look like hair. So we want some texture. So we want our pencils to be sharp, which sometimes can be problematic with our Prismas. They wear down pretty quick, and so they're not my favorites to use when I'm coloring just for myself, for hair. I love them for other things, but for hair they can be problematic. So just make sure you're sharpening your pencils, you're keeping that point. I know it can be hard and you have to sharpen more often with Prismas than you do other pencils. I would like later to do tutorials with other pencils, but I thought we did all our skin with Prismacolors. I thought we'd just stick with it, do our hair, and then we might move on to some other pencils. But it's definitely doable with Prismas. We can do it. Just keep that point the best you can. Okay, so that gives us a layer. I'm gonna move my chair, it might squeak. Okay. Alrighty, so then we're gonna go to our darkest color and put in some shadows. So this is the Burnt Ochre 943. And we want to, so this picture is really good because it kind of gives us some shadows and some texture already in the picture. So that's going to help us. But we want to put this color anywhere where there's folds in the hair, anywhere it's coming. And the idea is to set the pencil down. To set the pencil down in the darkest area, and then you're going to flick it out so that when you stop the stroke, my pencil's no longer on the paper, it's in the air. So we're doing little flicking motions out of the shadow. And that gives us so that it gets lighter as it comes out from the shadow. And that gives us our stroke, that gives us something that resembles hair. All right. So you can just go along and put this in all of the shadows. We have some flowers that might cast a shadow here and there. Another thing with hair is that I never want to go, I'm not going to color it this way because that's not the direction the hair is moving. The hair is moving this way. And so my pencil is going to go this way and this way. The same direction as the hair. If I go this way, it's not going to look right. Okay. Computer fan is noisy and I apologize if you can hear it tonight. It's trying to do updates. I should have moved it out of the room before I started, but I was afraid to unplug it because it's finicky and it might turn off, which would be bad while it's trying to do updates. So I apologize if you can hear the fan of my computer. Alright, so coming out from these flowers. Again, I'm following a lot of what the artist has drawn on here, but if the picture that you're working on doesn't have any shading, just come out from any corners, the sides, and behind things. Okay, so now we have this flow of hair and it's coming out from behind underneath this piece. So we need those shadows there, and Emmanuel Collin, the illustrator on this picture, has given us some reference there. So we'll follow that. Okay, put that in. I'm just going to keep following that down. So we want to here, come out of the shadows, follow those lines, follow the direction of the hair. Dark there. We want to get back in here because there's some heavy shadows back here. I'm not pressing hard, I'm being pretty light. If I need a little more darkness in a spot, I'd rather go over it again than to use more pressure. Okay, same with this piece of hair. It's coming from underneath that piece, so it's going to have some shadows on it, a little darker. I'm also rotating the pencil in my hand to try to find that point, that sharpest spot on the pencil. And as it wears down, it makes a new sharp point on the other side of the pencil. So I rotate to that side, trying to always work with a sharp edge. If it gets too dull, I lose the precision, I lose my line, and it gets harder to fill in the paper as well. You need that point to get in and fill in the tooth of the paper as we color as well. Okay, so this is all kind of more in shadow, so we're just again just pulling out, flicking out, not using a ton of pressure, and we're just getting in those shadow areas from underneath anything you have, any folds in the hair. Hear the airplane, isn't that exciting? It's probably a helicopter actually. All right. Like coloring hair can become very meditative because you're just doing these strokes. I don't know, I get very meditative so I enjoy it. It's very relaxing to me. We have some hair down here, and we'll make sure your pencil's sharp and put in a few strands. Alright, then we have this up here, and this is in shadow in here. I've lost a little bit of the point of my pencil, and so I am going to just give it a quick 1-2, sharpen it up just a little bit. I'm trying out different sharpeners because my electric sharpener is on the fritz. So this one is a TGAAL, and you can like pick how sharp or the shape of the pencil you want. So that's kind of nice. I'm trying it out. So far it's been working pretty good. I'll have a link for it down below. I just got it off Amazon. I might also like the little Coom metal sharpener, but you do have to have a dish because it doesn't have anywhere to keep the pencil shavings. So you do have to have something to sharpen into. At least the one I have. Alright, coming up from behind this bird. You can see my strokes are always going the direction the hair would be moving. And they're flicking out and getting lighter as I get away from the shadow. And you can put some in here and there. It was pretty forgiving. Pretty nice to color. See, I'm getting all meditative. Ooh, wake up. I have some right here. Let's put a little bit underneath this flower. So I'm just looking now, seeing if there's anywhere else I want. I'm seeing, I can always come back and add this color again. Just because I set the pencil down doesn't mean I can't come back to it. Okay, I'm not seeing anything right now. So we're going to move to yellow ochre, which is our second darkest color. So let's see, so we just want, what we're going to do with this is we're going to start in the shadow. We're going to start way back here in this darkest area, and we're going to pull it along past all that brown burnt ochre and then flick it into the white of the paper. And that's going to help it blend and come together, but still give us that texture. So doing that flicking motion, we're just going to make a longer flick. Start back there in that dark ochre or burnt ochre. Just bring it all the way out. Flick it in here. We can leave a gap because we have other colors to fill in. And I'm always moving in the direction of the hair. And then just doing the same thing I've done with that burnt ochre. I'm just bringing it just out further. Yeah. We want that sharp edge on the pencil. Just keep flicking it out. Right now I have 10 hair colors for us to explore while we do this mini series. I'm very excited about. I've kind of tried to mix them together, but we'll have some naturally occurring hair colors to do, like this blonde. And we'll have some that aren't too natural, like a purple and silver. It'll be fun. I'm excited. And just keep doing the same thing. I'm just starting in all those burnt ochre areas and just pulling the color out further down. Okay. Just keep flicking it in. Make sure your pencil has got a point to work on, because if it gets blunt, you're not going to get those strands. It's not gonna, it won't be as crisp. Okay, getting this deep dark shadow and then flick it out further. Want some color in here. We didn't have burnt ochre in there, but I want some of this, so I'm just flicking it in. Okay, I'm going to give my pencil just a little sharpen. Yeah, there we go. Just keep flicking it in there. This girl has a lot more hair surface than I think most of the others we're going to do, but you'll get to see the process quite a bit on this picture. Alright, let's kind of flick some back there. Across the kind of the back of her head there. Make sure we get it. Okay. Alright, just keep flicking. These ones are a little bit longer flick because we've got more surface working with, but we still want that highlight in the middle, so we don't want to completely cover it with the yellow ochre, but we'll go in with the sand now and keep pulling them together. We'll pull this piece and this piece together with the lighter colors, creating ourselves a highlight on the top. But you can put some of this yellow ochre in, make it look like some color from underneath or a fold in the hair. It's pretty forgiving. Okay, look and see if there's anywhere else you want to put anything. Sometimes taking a step back from your picture, like physically taking a step back and looking, can help. Taking a picture and looking at the picture of your, like take a picture with your phone and then look at it on your phone and see if there's, you'll see different things than when you're just looking at the paper. Okay. Now we're going to go to sand. This is 940. We're going to do the exact same thing that we've done with the burnt ochre and the yellow ochre. We're going to start back here and we're just going to flick it out even further. Okay, so start in those dark and then flick it out even further, filling in more of that space, more of that gap. Getting that flicking motion, that hair-like texture. I don't want to blend away that texture, so we're already at like 30 minutes. It doesn't feel like it. Just meditated all of it away. All the stress of my day is leaving as I flick hair in. It's so nice. So just flick it in there, fill in those gaps. You still can go in with that cream to fill in some more gaps and give a brighter highlight in areas. So don't feel like you have to fill it all in with this pencil. You can still do some more lighter areas. Hope that makes sense, but you are filling in a lot of the gaps in the shadows, pulling it together. I'm starting all the way back here and pulling it all the way out. Okay. Keep going. See how we've left a little bit, so we have like a place here for a highlight, and a place here, and there's a little bit here. We'll put our cream back in there. Okay, and then this is going to be kind of the brightest. It's kind of almost like a light is kind of shining on it. But we're going to start in the deep dark shadow areas and just pull that color all the way out. It can be tricky around these flowers, but I feel like I'll be able to put color over the top if I get a little bit on there. It's okay. I'm not gonna fuss too much. Okay, make sure you have a nice point to work with. Yeah. If you see, I just moved my camera, sorry. Show you on these bigger areas, like I'm moving my whole wrist to make that motion, so that is like a nice fluid motion. If I was just staying in my hand, I'd have a harder time getting that, but I move my whole wrist on those longer strokes. Get that arc. You need to turn your paper so that you have an arc that's a little more natural for your hand. Go ahead and do that. I try to keep mine fairly straight so that it doesn't bother you watching it. But if you need to turn your paper like this so that you can get a better stroke, then do it. Okay. Loving the way this is looking. Okay, so then I just want to fill in those highlights with a little more cream. So I'm making sure my cream is sharp. Then we're just gonna kind of get it in there. No, I'm just gonna get it in there. I don't want to blend away all the texture, so I'm not using pressure. I have a very light hand while I'm doing this, but I'm not flicking as much because this can go over all of it. You know what I mean? Like just like we did underneath, I don't need to leave a gap or get lighter as I go out. So I'm just kind of rolling it in there. And if I press hard, then I'm going to blend and work out that texture. But I want that texture, so that's not, I'm using a very light hand. Just kind of filling in those highlight areas. And I'm still moving in the direction that the hair flows. Okay, then this area is going to be our largest. Okay, now we step back and we look and we say, okay, is this how I want it to look? Am I happy with this? Is this what I want? Is there any shadows that I want darker? Do I want a higher contrast? What are the things that I want? So if we want some darker shadow, then get your darker color, your burnt ochre, and put it in. If there's a spot that you're like, oh, I really wish that spot was just a little bit darker, go over it again. Like here behind this bird, maybe we want just a little more shadow or a little more. Okay, so put it in. Okay. And then when we're happy with it, when we love it, go, okay, this is what I want. Looks amazing. I love it. We do have these little hairs down here. I'm gonna grab yellow ochre. I'm gonna make sure my pencil is sharp. Can come off. Flick them in there. There's one that comes down here. You can add those in yourself if you want. Make it look a little more. She has a flyaway or something. Any little extras. There it is. Love it. So this was my practice. This was this one. This one turned out looking a little darker because there's more shadows and things in it, but these are the same colors. So if you have more shadows, if you want it darker, pull that darker color out further. If you want it lighter, keep those big bright areas. So, but I love this. I love how it turned out. Looks great, especially for that little bird and a nest in there. It's beautiful. Love it. Alright, I hope you had fun with this tutorial. I know it was a little bit longer. I hope that the other ones will be a little shorter, but we're going to do what we have to do to get this hair down, and I love it. Thank you so much for doing this with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends, and I will see you guys next time for another hair tutorial. Okay, bye.